Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the Union makes us strong. In our hands is placed a power greater than their horse.
The Industrial Workers of the World, IWW, members of which are commonly termed Wobblies, is an international radical labor union that was founded in 1905. The IWW promotes the concept of one big union and contends that all workers should be united as a social class to supplant capitalism and wage labor with industrial democracy.
Joe Hill was a songwriter for the IWW, and many songs that working people still sing were created by him. And during the First World War, he came to Salt Lake City, Utah, and there was a nighttime incident when a storekeeper was killed, and the murder was blamed on Joe Hill. There's been much controversy. It's the kind of situation where the evidence against him was so weak he should have been acquitted, but we don't really know what happened, because earlier on the evening in question there'd been some incident with a young woman. It's possible Joe didn't want to tell the story of what really happened that night because he didn't want to involve the young woman. In any event, the universal conviction of labor historians, IWW members, and others who've tried to look into it is that Joe Hill was simply framed by the industrialists, the mine owners, because they wanted to get rid of a very effective agitator.
So he was actually working in the mines?
No, he had just come by, but he was the sort of person, if you were running the country, get that man out of town. And so they did it seems, in a very final way. And I have a story to tell about him and about the song I'm about to sing. When Alice and I made, I believe, our second trip to Palestine, we went to the Golan Heights, which is a part of Syria that Israel occupied in 1967 and has held on to ever since. And when we visited, we attended a barbecue in an apple orchard. And there was a Syrian liquid, Arak, that flowed quite freely. And it was decided at some point in the evening that each group, the American visitors and our Arab hosts, should sing to the other. And I was nominated to sing the song for our group, and I decided I would say something about it before I sang. He was, according to the best evidence, a participant in one of the Mexican revolutions that occurred around the time of the First World War. And I was, about to continue my speech as to how he was an internationalist and not just a narrow-minded American. And our host, who had had a good deal more arak than I, held up his hand, and he said, "We understand. In ancient Roman days, Joe Hill was with Spartacus. More recently, he's been involved in revolutions in Latin America. But right now," he said, "Joe Hill is a Palestinian." And so here's the song about Joe Hill that was written about 10 years after his death. I dreamed I saw Joe Hill last night, alive as you and me. Says I, "But Joe, you're 10 years dead." "I never died," said he. "I never died," said he. "The copper bosses killed you, Joe. They shot you, Joe," said I. "Takes more than guns to kill a man." Joe says, "I never died." Joe says, "I never died." And standing there as big as life and smiling with his eyes, Joe said, "What they forgot to kill went on to organize, went on to organize. From San Diego up to Maine, in every mine and mill, where working men go out on strike, he says you'll find Joe Hill. He says you'll find Joe Hill. I dreamed I saw Joe Hill last night, alive as you and me. I said to Joe, "You're 10 years dead." "I never died," said he. "I never died," said he.
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever.